All right, so let's get into it. Um, I've decided that I'm gonna just drop my trader strategy. I did it once before, but this one is a little bit more refined. Because I get asked this question all the time: How you trade? How you trade? Teach me how to trade. Teach me how to trade. Um, is a reason why I post what I post on, my Instagram, or excuse me, my pages, is because um I know no one is not going to take the time out to actually look at it and digest it and learn it. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. Let me just go ahead and make a video for content just to make it on, how I trade. And that's just the reality of it. Like, you can bring the horse to the water, but you can't force it to drink. And this is kind of one of those moments. So uh, let's get into it. So first things first, what I like to do is two things. Well, let me look on a trade that I'm currently in right now. I'm in AU. All right, let's do EU. All right, so, but let's go on a different broker. Everything is in Spanish because I'm learning Spanish right now, and I'm just trying to like get acclimated to the screen. So everything is in Spanish because of that. So I like to take two approaches. My first approach, which is very, very easy, and this is the one that I show on my YouTube, is I mark up the daily, the Monday high, low, and mid range. High, low, and mid range. So this is something I actually learned from ICT, and it kind of just gives me where liquidity is sitting, and then I wait for either buy side liquidity to be taken on Monday or Tuesday, and then I enter in trades going into Wednesday. So Monday for me is generally not a trading day. Tuesday is also not a trading day. I enter in my trades Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So Monday and Tuesday, I'm not even looking at the charts. And then Tuesday around 4:45, 4:50 Eastern Standard Time, I look to see if there's any breaks, draw on liquidity. So as you can see, this Tuesday, Euro USD had a buy side liquidity sweep. And then this is where it gets important. To show acceptance of buyers, I wait for a close, either above or below. Excuse me. To show acceptance of sellers, I wait for a close, either above or below. Again, above or below the POC. All right. So that's kind of how I do it. So the fact that, boom, Tuesday came around, EU had a buy side liquidity sweep, price closed below the POC. This is grounds for me to take a short. All right, that is grounds for me to take a short. And then I take my short to whatever my take profit is. Where my take profit sits, I take 50% of my entry to my take profit. When price hits my take profit 1, which is 50%, I take half my positions, which is usually 1% because I risk 2% per trade. And then I move my stops to break even, and then the rest does what I want to do. All right. Real simple, real cool, real calm, real collected. Again, let me show you it on this right here. So again, Tuesday came, Wednesday came, Thursday came. Buy side liquidity was taken for EUR/USD, and then price closed below the POC, and then I enter on the POC, stops above. I like to round up to whole numbers. Take profit right here, 50%, which is the equilibrium. That's my take profit 1. So price plays out, boom, I'm taking out 1%, and then I move my stops to break even. So if price decides it wants to reverse, like I'm not losing any money. I would have already secured 1%. So again, I learned this concept. I learned the Monday range literally from ICT. I was just going through all his videos one day, and I was just like, oh, this is pretty easy, and I get the basis behind it. Draws and pulls on liquidity, etc., etc. Real easy. Now, how I add my sauce to it. And this is the part where a lot of people, they're just like, man, I ain't gonna wait that long. I want my money now. But it's crazy because I'm literally in trades from last week. This one I moved to break even. I moved my stops to break even because it got to my take profit one. Um, this again is just tanking. I'm in up 65 pips, 61.2 pips, trying to get 102, 103, right? Pips. And this is about to hit my take profit one as well. So I'm literally going to close out half my position and then move my stops to break even. Again, being in this trade since last week, this is EUR USD, trying to get 135 pips. It just makes trading, swing trading for me makes trading so much easier. Like, this just hit my take profit one and for NZD USD, and it's just doing its thing. Quick 32 pips, right? So yeah, that's that. Now let's get into kind of like my swing trades and how I swing trade and like what does my swing trades consist of. And this is more so where the DXY comes into play, because whatever the DXY is doing, depending on what pair is going to do the opposite or go with it. So, prime example, the DXY took out Monday's lows, and it also took out previous week's low. So, for me, in my mind, what makes the most sense is this thing, it wants to keep going up. Like, it wants to keep going up. So, yesterday, price had an acceptance of the POC because it took out sell side liquidity sweep and bought up. So for me, this was like my golden ticket to, okay, like price wants to go up. It wants to continue to go up. That's what makes the most sense to me. So if price wants to go up, to me, that means UCAD, UJ, USD, CHF all want to buy, and then everything opposite of that all wants to sell. So how did I get into my AUD USD trade? Where is it? Okay, no. How I got into my NZD USD trade was being the fact that the DXY had acceptance of buyers. I knew that NZD USD was going to sell. Now, if I turn on my Monday range, selling from here to here would not have given me a lot of pips. Like, that's nothing. But selling from here to the Monday range, that would have been Picasso, you know. I mean, previous week's lows would have been my thing. So at that point, the whole Monday range liquidity sweep, I no longer consider, and I'm just going based off of purely price action. And as you can see, because the DXY closed above the POC, NZD USD closed below the POC. So I just went ahead and I entered in on the POC, stops above, and then my take profit is the weekly previous low. So that's another draw on liquidity that I like to use, is the week's previous lows. Last week's previous lows, because it again helps with me seeing draws on liquidity on a bigger time frame. Draws on liquidity on a daily and like the daily time frame and stuff, that's cool. But draws on liquidity on the weekly time frame, monthly time frames, that's where you get like healthy swing trades. Real healthy swing trades. Now, this would have been an ideal trade as well because I had a sell side liquidity sweep and then a close above the POC. But this is where it kind of gets out of alignment, and this is why I don't trade on Mondays. The close above the BOC happened on Lune. Lune is Monday in Spanish, right? Mondays usually set the range for the week, and then we'll set the initial range, and then Tuesday and Wednesday usually make the higher to low. So entering on this, knowing that Tuesday makes the high to low, I would have got liquidated. It would have been, you know, kind of weird. So again, I like to wait. I have a lot of patience. I've been trading since 2018, so don't nobody have more patience than me, right? So just waiting for setups. This don't have no clean setups yet. Again, Just waiting for closes above the POC. So this I want to wait for a close above the POC before, get it in for the longs. This, again, wait for a close above the POC before getting in for the longs. And then my take profit is really the previous week's high. And then my take profit 1 is like the mid-range of the week. So this trade, just to break it down, yes, it took out the lows. I'm still in on these sales from last week. So I got in on sales for UJ right here last week. And then my take profits down here, which is 2 previous weeks ago's lows. So I took my take profit 1, like I said before, and then I moved my stops to break even, and then letting the rest ride. AUD USD, again, similar, right? Price close below. I set a pennant order for right here. My pennant order didn't get hit, which is fine with me, but yeah, life. All right, EUR USD showed you this setup. Buy side liquidity sweep, buy side liquidity sweep. Now it's a Wednesday, or excuse me, now it's a Tuesday. Price closed below. Price rejecting off of the POC. And now we're making that shit ride, baby. So for GU, just want to close below the POC. And then last but not least, NZD USD is doing what it's supposed to do. So I'm not even worried about it. Now, one might ask, what happens if, you get in on the middle of the range and then price hits the low? What do? I'm done trading. I'm done trading for the week. Once I get my take profit for one pair, this pair, I'm good. I'm resetting it all over again. So try not to get greedy, try to take my wins for what it is and then keep it pushing. But yeah, that's exactly how I trade. You have 2 options. You can either trade weekly range, which, hey, do what you do. It takes a little bit longer to hit. Or you can trade the Monday range, which you get a lot more fake outs, but, quick money right then and there. Or same thing with daily range. You can trade the daily range. Again, you probably gonna get some fake outs, but you have your quick money then and there. So me personally, I don't too much care for the quick money, because as quick as you get it, you lose it even quicker. So I'm cool with the swings, and I'll take my dailies from time to time. Well, I'll take my dailies a lot of times, but I have my swing confluence to ensure that I'm on the right side of the market, if that makes sense. So yeah, no intro, no outro, straight fire.